got a new season on our hands, sports fans, and that means we get to see what kind of improvement last year's rookies made in their second season. And it's Trae Young who has shown all that off-season work has paid off. If you've been sleeping on him, and that means missing 2 videos I've already done on him, shake my head, then it's time to get woke, as this guy isn't the next coming of Steph Curry, my friends. He's more like a shoot-first Steve Nash, and it's that mix of shifty explosiveness and audacious bombing from 40 feet that gets Hawks fans up out of their chairs and actually thinking playoffs for the first time in 4 years. Last night against the Pistons, he dropped the gauntlet, laying down an MVP stat line with a ridiculous 72.3% true shooting percentage. It all got started with a simple bounce pass on the break to John Collins, the third-year player who averaged 20 and 10 last year. That's right, you've been sleeping on him too, even though he can do this. And this. And this. It's worth mentioning that this team isn't just John Collins doing monstrous things and Trey Young making ridiculous plays for himself and others. They've got a polished rookie in DeAndre Hunter that scored 14 last night, and if you've got a fantasy team, I'd strongly consider picking up Jabari Parker, since I think he's gonna love playing in this offense alongside a playmaker like Young. Unfortunately, they're waiting for sharpshooter and solid secondary ball handler Kevin Huerter to clear up his knee issues. But when he does get healthy, he'll add a lot to the mix, including sneaky athletic ability like this. DeAndre Bembry is an all-purpose wing who can run the offense and lock down on the defensive end. Cam Reddish has serious talent. If he can begin to get comfortable and contribute, that will really help. Sprinkle in the veterans Evan Turner and Vince Carter, and suddenly you've got to be thinking they're going to win more games than they'll lose this year. Now, Trae was going up against Bruce Brown, a 23-year-old second-year player who played 20 minutes a game last year. So he's not a baby-faced deer in the headlights. Check how Trae rejects the screen with a lateral crossover, daring Brown to reach. It's this right step that's key, as he extends it slightly to cut Brown's angle off and draw contact. Then it's just a quick floater soft off the glass for the and one. The Hawks have plenty of pistol action in their offense, like this handoff into ball screen. Notice how much space is open around the basket with 4 players spread wide and the roll man heading to the hoop. Watch how Morris steps up to take away the jumper. One retreat dribble gives him time for the roll man to start heading to the hoop, forcing Morris to turn his head to pick him up. Just look at the window Young puts it through. He sees Morris has his head turned away from the ball and bounces it just past his feet. The only one catching this is Jabari Parker, and it's an easy flush. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they run the same play, only this time it's Drummond who will not come up on the ball screen. That stops the roll man, sure, but it gives them an extra point on his clean swish through the net. This isn't a replay, folks. They do it again to Thon Maker this time. He tries to play in between the roll man and Young, so Trae just lets loose a one-footed runner. He's gone through the entire package in 2 minutes of game time. I swear this isn't a replay, because this time they try and double Young off the ball screen, but look how he flicks this ball between them for the bounce pass, leading the cutter straight to the hoop for another dunk assist. Then it gets fun when his teammates can get out on the break and create for him. Friend of the breakdown, DeAndre Bembry, is a perfect running mate as he gets deep under the basket, maybe lands before releasing the pass, but we don't want to be a wet blanket, and it's right to Young, who spots up 6 feet behind the three-point line and drops it in pure. This isn't a replay either. Another high ball screen gets rejected with an even more lateral crossover. Another reach-in by Brown gets him going downhill. And check how he extends the left step. Brown's right with him, and Young almost slows down to simulate another floater, but instead extends the right step to get all the way to the rim for an inside hand layup. Finally, the Pistons handled this pick and roll on the right wing okay by switching. But that means Maker has to guard Young the rest of the way, It didn't look like it was going to matter since the clock was winding down. The Hawks hadn't even looked at the basket until Young catches the ball with both feet in the midcourt circle. Why wouldn't it go in? If you're a young player wanting to improve, you've got to study Young's feet. His shooting range forces the defense to have to pick him up 3 feet above the three-point line in transition, allowing him to use his quickness to attack into the lane. Another extended left foot step to get past his man, and an easy layup off the glass. I've been super high on Young's game ever since he was in college, and I tend to head over to Atlanta this year to see him in person and get an upfront and personal view of just how good this kid is. And you should do this for your favorite NBA player by getting seats to an NBA game using SeatGeek. Download SeatGeek now to your phone, and you'll get the best tickets for any sporting event, concert, or the theater. In just a few taps, you'll be able to see what seats are available, the prices are graded to let you know if you're getting a great deal, they've got seating charts and viewpoints from each seat, and best of all, if you use my code BBALL, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. So use the SeatGeek app, save $20 off your first purchase, and get great seats so you can see with incredible detail just how Trae Young, John Collins, and the rest of this fun Hawks team are gonna surprise the Eastern Conference. What makes a player truly hard to guard is when he varies the way he attacks. He certainly dominates the ball a lot, but he is also comfortable being a cog in the machine, and I don't care that Brown actually deflects this ball, you simply cannot, under any circumstance, help one pass away off of Trae freaking Young. Even more extreme spacing as all 5 players are above the three-point line. Drummond must step up to the line to meet him. Young sucks a second defender to the ball before hook passing right over his man's hair to the roll man, who does nicely to avoid the charge and get Trae another assist with the finger roll. And Young is so crafty moving without the ball. The Hawks offense has plenty of actions to let him run two-man game with a big. A blind pig cut is cut short so he can come back around for a handoff, and before the defender can even get balanced, he's letting it fly, getting knocked down, and yes, count the bucket too. I mean, this guy's skill level is completely off the charts. Here's that same double high ball screen across the top, and the key that makes him so hard to guard is this. He has no conscience from anywhere inside 40 feet. This was the best defense on him all night. In transition, they pick him up above the three-point line. He tries to hit Brown with the Smitty, no dice. Brown stays with him around the screen, but another extended left foot step gets in position for a floater. 4 defenders surrounding him, and they're forced to foul, where he's an 83% free throw shooter. And here's where you need to separate yourself. You've got a 7-point lead late in the game, and the team needs a bucket or two to ice it. Well contained on the first pick and roll, and now the shot clock is working against them. He again rejects the screen. Put this in your scouting report, other NBA teams, and is now forced 4 defenders into the lane. But this is special. Rather than try a tough floater over Drummond, or even make the simple pass to the wide-open but bricklaying Evan Turner in the corner, he flips it over to the cutting Bembry for a somewhat kind of easy half hook. And to put the nail in the coffin, another double ball screen out high, and you guessed it, he crosses over to reject this screen. All the help has been positioned as if he were going to use the screens, so he's got a runway. He slows his feet on the 1-2 while also extending how far the steps take him, absorbs the bump and the strip, and it's an off-foot floating on the way down bank shot soft off the glass for the and one, and that is the game. If you want to learn even more about NBA players and how they do their moves, check out our friends over at Playmaker Training. They've got one on Trey Young that you gotta check out. I think the Hawks are one of the most exciting teams in the NBA, and even though they're incredibly young, pun intended, I think they've got a playoff run in them. The bottom 3 spots in the East are wide open, so get them on your League Pass watch, because you're not gonna want to miss Trae Young put on a show each and every night. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?